So, Simar, before we get started into what you're doing, what you're building, I'm curious about the journey that got you where you are today, which moving to the Middle East, moving to Saudi Arabia. And I'm curious because you used to live in Canada, which is where I am right now.
That's right.
So, can you just talk to me a bit about this shift, this transition? Was it easy? Was it difficult? How did you come up with the decision, personal, professional?
That's a very good question. Okay, so I moved to Canada when I was 17 years old. I was raised in Jordan. I'm originally Lebanese, raised in Jordan. And at 17, I went to Concordia University to pursue my studies. And I did my bachelor's in biochemistry, believe it or not. So it has nothing to do with my what I'm working with right now. And yeah, so I moved to Canada at 17. And we recently decided, 2 years ago, we decided, okay, it's time to we're always open for changes. So we're like, okay, what's our next move? And we were looking into Riyadh because everybody was saying Riyadh is booming. It's the place to be. It's like what happened in Dubai a couple of years ago, like 15 years ago, maybe, where Dubai was like, was on the news and all that. Everybody wanted to go to Dubai. So we were excited, and my husband got an opportunity over here. For me, I'm flexible. I can work worldwide, doesn't matter the location, because I run my own online businesses. And I've been doing that for the past 13 plus years, I would say. So, yeah. So we're here. We're in Riyadh. I mean, for the kids, I have two kids, 7 and 3.5 year old. So it is, they're excited. I think they still think they're on vacation. That's the honest truth, because we live in a compound. And I think they feel like maybe we're in like Punta Cana or Mexico, where you go and you enjoy the resort that you're in. It's kind of a similar vibe, but so far we're loving it. And the most important thing was for me, for the kids to get to know people, make friends, and that's been happening. And yeah, so far we're excited. Listen, we're excited. It's not for everyone to move to make that drastic move, but for us, it was the right decision, and we're here. We're enjoying every bit of it.
Simar, Lebanese, raised in Jordan, moved to Canada, moved to Saudi Arabia. Do you feel like at some point, do you feel attached to a certain place, or do you just follow whatever opportunity comes knocking at the door and you're like, you know what, that's the next big thing for me, so let's just do it again.
Yeah.
How's talk to me about the mental state behind this because I know a lot of people that never left their hometowns, and it sounds crazy to them to just move cities. But when you're moving continents every couple of years, I feel like that's a big
Yeah.
change. Does it impact you? Do you feel like you don't really belong in a specific place and you can always move around based on whatever opportunity that you have?
So, yes, I am very open to opportunities, and I like change. So it's again, it's not for everyone. When I talk to some of my friends, it's like, oh my God, I don't know how you do it. That's for sure not for me. And that's totally fine. It happens also that my husband loves change as well. So maybe if he didn't like to change, I'll be like, okay, that's fine. But for us, like we're always open to the new opportunity. Keep in mind, in Canada as well, I moved from Montreal to Ottawa to Toronto. So, and I
Wow.
left from Toronto to Riyadh. So even in Canada, we were moving. And wherever there's an opportunity, we were down for it. So I think it is a mindset. It is a mindset thing. And but for me, it's exciting. I'm always excited about, okay, what's coming next? What's happening? So yeah, again, it's not for everyone.
So,
Absolutely.
Simar, I want to switch a bit to LuckyBook. So, talk to me. How do you
Yes.
go from chemistry, biochemistry to LuckyBook publishing?
Okay, interesting question. So I never, so that's the thing. I studied biochemistry, but towards the end, I'm like, is this really what I want to do? Like, I was 17. I started it like I didn't really know, what I'm supposed to do. And then you listen to your parents. That's one thing that happens where you listen to your parents, they give you advice. So you're kind of like not in the know. But then towards like I think the third year, I'm like, this is not for me. So back then I was working for a company in Montreal, not in my field, nothing to do with my field. And then there's a time slot where I went back to Lebanon. So what happened is I started a company called MiniMe City, where we do custom figurines for all occasions. And the first sample I ever made was for my sister's wedding. So it's basically a cake topper that you put on the top of a cake, and it looks like you, right? And sometimes you can make the head wobble. So that was my first idea. And back then, in the Middle East, nobody was doing that. And I started building an audience on Facebook. So I've taught myself Facebook ads. I hired a student back then to make me a simple website, e-commerce website, just to be able to take orders. And I started the first time technically I advertised, or was my sister's wedding, actually. I put it on top of the cake, and then everybody at the wedding was asking me, "Oh, what is this? Is it edible? What is it made from?" And this is where the idea sparked. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna hire somebody to build me a website, make it e-commerce. And I have everything like PayPal and everything, it's connected. I had my Canadian accounts and everything. So that was easy because in Lebanon, that was not an option, unfortunately. Yeah, so this is how it started. I'm again curious. I've taught myself everything from scratch. And I started delivering worldwide. So from Lebanon, with my e-commerce website, I started delivering worldwide. I started pitching myself left and right to media, and the word got out there. I was in Time Out Beirut. I was on, I don't know if you know them, the Lebanese channels, LBC, OTV. So I got my interviews there. They were talking about it. So it was pretty exciting. And I was just teaching myself as I go. So back then, I mean, we started with like Facebook groups, right? And then the page, you connect the page, and then you're doing ads. So I was doing ads at like, the cost was 0.01, nothing cent per lead, right? So I figured it out. And then going fast forward, in between, there was a couple of ideas here and there that I didn't really pursue. I didn't continue with. But the publishing side, my best friend, Samantha, always thought that we should start something together. And the idea came about, oh, how about we start publishing books for passive income? Now, fast forward when we started it is basically there's nothing called passive income. So basically there's nothing called like passive income, right? You got to put a lot of hard work at the beginning to make sure everything is working and all that. And so what happened is we started talking to our network that we started publishing books. Little did we know is people started reaching out and saying, "Oh, I've published a book before, but it's doing nothing on Amazon. Can you help me republish? Can you help me with, rebranding it and adding more content and so forth." So this is where the idea started. And now we're 3 years in, and we've built an amazing community of authors. So we've published so far 55 books plus. And it's not only on Amazon, so we do global distribution for 40,000 other spots like Barnes and Nobles, Books a Million, Indigos of the world, and all that. And if you're going to ask me, like, what's the highlight of LuckyBook Publishing, I'm going to tell you it's the amazing authors community that we built. We're supporting each other, we're helping each other grow. And yeah, this is my transition story from like being a biochemist to my first business, MiniMe, and all the way to LuckyBook Publishing. But I'm super excited about it. And I'm bringing it here to Riyadh. So now I'm, again, building from scratch, networking, meeting people. And I was just very fortunate that once I landed here, literally in the compound, there was an event happening. It's called Writers in Riyadh. It was literally downstairs. So I got dressed and I went downstairs, and here it was like 100 people that, in the room. And I'm like, oh my God, that's speaking of manifestation and,
That's fate,
all the things.
Simar. I mean, you
I'm
got
serious. Yeah.
writers right next to you. Yeah. But
Yeah.
let me back up
Mm.
for a second. I don't know
Sure,
much about the
sure.
publishing industry. So can you just talk to me a bit
Yes.
about how it works? So I write a book.
Yeah.
What happens then?
Yes. So basically, you write a book. Now, our ideal clients are basically people who have a business and they want to grow their business through a book. Because once you're a published author, It makes a whole difference for people, bringing you on their stage, speaking opportunities in the media, and so forth. And I have a bunch of, I don't have all my books because I need to ship more from Canada, but I have some of them. I mean, here's two books that from two of our authors. So basically, it's, for example, Vivian, she's a coach, right? So her book is called Parenting Through Divorce and the Three Keys to Building Unshakable Bonds with Your Children. So this is basically a lead magnet. What does that mean? When somebody reads this book and they love Vivian's story and everything, they're going to come to her website to learn more about her offers and services. So basically, this is a lead to your business. It helps you grow your business,
Mm.
right? So another thing is Vivian is on the media. Like there, she's being, because she's a published author, she's in the media a lot. She's being asked to come over back and back again on different channels in Canada, right? She's speaking on stages. She's actually going to the US. She has an opportunity over there. And again, it makes a big difference if you are a published author and if you're not. One of our other authors, she told us, oh, guess what? She was chosen out of 4 other candidates to speak on a major stage in the US just because she's a published author. That's how they chose her, right? So we help them also become a best-selling author. That's our secret sauce. And yeah, the journey of you submitting a manuscript is we do everything on Amazon for you for the back end. Like you literally don't have to worry about anything. We create the covers for you. We make it beautiful. We proofread, we edit, we format the book. So everything interior is done for you. And all we want from you is your expertise, your wisdom, and we take care of the rest. And the most interesting part is also marketing. As we spoke about, marketing is a big deal, right? So we have our authors community calls. We do Mondays, we do Tuesdays and Thursdays where we talk about marketing. I mean, we segmented these authors community calls. One of them is like marketing, one of them is like writing. It's like a co-working space. If you want to get this chapter done, you show up on Thursdays and you put your head down. We put a timer on the screen and we're all writing, right? We say what we want to accomplish in that session, and we all go into writing what we said we want to accomplish in the next hour.
And you know what,
Yeah,
Simar, just one other thing. Since you moved to Riyadh, do you feel like you
yeah,
have a certain, do you feel like there's a lot of opportunity in the region? I mean,
I think so.
putting aside like
Yeah,
all the hype about Saudi and the innovation
yes,
that they have, let's talk
yeah,
specifically about your field. Do you feel like there's a lot of people that have their stories to tell or didn't know how to get
absolutely.
it out there?
Absolutely. Like, so I've been meeting people and I feel like my first vibe, like like my intuition, like, going out and meeting people and talking to them, they're hungry, you know. And I was surprised because I was at an event, again, writers in Riyadh, giving them a shout out. I was at an event and I got to network with a lot of people over there. And not necessarily, I'm not just talking about books, but in general, like if you ask them what do you do, most people were answering me with like two, three things. They have a full-time job, they have they have a running club, and they have another business abroad somewhere. I'm like, that's amazing. Like it's just amazing. Like, you're running three things. How can you do that? So I feel they're very hungry, like they're open to ideas and yeah, no, I'm excited. Listen, I think it is the right time to be here, and I'm super excited um, for just being here and the opportunities and everything. Yeah,
Talking to you was amazing because I kind of feel like I'm getting the short stories of founders like yourself, and you're publishing a very long form, maybe even what people have learned throughout their life through their books. So I find that very interesting, getting people's stories out there. Thank you so much for doing this. It was super fun.
you're, you're most welcome, Antoine. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.